We're back on this 2005 Mini Cooper, and if you have a problem where you want to test the starter and do a compression test and you can't start it because there's an immobilizer going, let me show you real quick. So the first thing I need to do is separate this connector here, and I've got another video where I couldn't figure out how to get this off. It's some kind of twist lock, and I just broke it off, and then you can just twist that off. I'm just going to grab my meter here. So once you get this piece off, this will separate. It doesn't feel like it will, but it will. It's easy now because I've taken it off a few times, but it's really a sealed connector. And this black with yellow stripe right here is your starter, which is that pin there. So we're just going to take a jumper cable and put it in there. Then we're just going to, on a Cooper Mini S, you have a post here, the battery's in the back. So I've got all the plugs out. You're just going to touch it to here, make sure it's in neutral. Just over 150 psi. Then you just push this release and move on to the next one. Now these cylinders, I actually had to use an adapter, and I'll show you that. So these usually come with an adapter, and I needed the adapter on this one for these spark plugs that are a little bit larger. These are the BKR 6EQUP. So another thing I noticed was on my standard wrench, spark plug wrench, you know, they've usually have a little rubber piece in here, and it's supposed to grab the spark plug, but if you've lost the rubber on the thing, you can't really pull these out. Well, there's a company that makes one. It's actually got a swivel. I've used this on the Prius. This is a 5/8, but it's got a magnet. So when you get it to there, it's actually magnetized, and it's actually really hard to pull it off. But you can pull them out real easy with this tool. And I'll give you the part number here. This is made by Gearwrench. It's 80546. And it's a 3/8 drive, and it's really nice, 5/8 swivel socket, and it's got the magnetic insert. So get those, they work great. And I'm going to check the other ones. So I don't really tighten this real tight, I just kind of hand tighten it, and then you put it down in the, I'm going to go to cylinder number 3. That first one was cylinder number 4. And you just kind of swivel it in there, and you just get it snug. That's it. And then I'm gonna put this back on there. It's a quick connect. And this compression tester I picked up at AutoZone, and the part number here is 27138. So that's the compression tester I'm using. So we'll see what cylinder number 2 is, or number 3 is. Cylinder number 3 is also 150 psi, so both of those are the same. I'm just going to check cylinder number 2. And if you're curious to know, that you're not going to mess these up if you don't mark them, because these are labeled 1, 2, 3, 4 on the plug wires, and you got 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to go to cylinder number 3 or number 2 now. Keep mixing these up. Go to number 2 and see what the compression is on that. And again, this is if you cannot start your engine because if something's wrong on the mobilizer, you can jump the starter out by disconnecting that connector and running a jumper. Let's see. And here's cylinder 2. Cylinder 2 is definitely lower. It's at 130 psi, so it's almost 20 psi less than the other two. So let me try cylinder number 1. See if it's any better. And this engine hasn't run in a couple years, so it could be that there's not oil in it. I'm not sure in that cylinder, or the rings are going. But I do this last one. This is cylinder number 1. That one hit almost 150. It's about 148. So that's how you do a compression test on one of these minis. Just detach this here and hook it to the black and yellow wire with a jumper. And then on a Mini S, you're just gonna go to this terminal right here. And that's all I'm doing is just touching it onto here. You wanna do a pretty positive touch. Oh, now what did I do? Let me see. Probably battery dead, but anyways, that's how you jump this thing to the starter, go direct, and you can do a compression test. So I hope this helps some other people figure out that this cable right here can be used as a jumper right to the starter. Thanks for watching. Sorry, I didn't want to end this video the way I did because I went to touch this and it didn't start, and I checked the battery terminal and I only had 2 volts. Now I'm back to 12 volts. What happened is I just barely have the connector in the back tied in. So I'll show you this again. Come over here. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna just touch on here. So there's your starter. I'm just taking this jumper wire, taking it right off of this yellow and black wire, which came out of this connector. And that's how you can go straight to the starter without going way down in there and getting to that starter, because you can't get to it from below and you can't get to it from here unless you take off that heat shield. So this quick and easy way you can use the starter and do a compression test. Maybe even a car that you find somewhere that doesn't run and you can at least test it. So I found cylinder number 2 is a little low, lower than the other 2 cylinders. So I'm gonna put some oil in cylinder number 2 and see if it'll bring it up. That'll tell me if there's a ring issue, if it's a lifter, or not a lifter, a valve issue. So let me do that, and then let's see how it does. Cylinder 4 was probably the best at about a 152, and then cylinder 3 was about almost at 151. Cylinder 2 was the lowest, so I'm gonna spray a little bit of PB Blaster in there and get it lubricated a little bit. Just to get some oil down in there. Take this back out. Just a note, just remember to release that little button there. I didn't do that time, but let me see how cylinder number 2 does with oil inside the cylinder. That'll tell me maybe if it's the rings or the valves. Where's my jumper? Oh, I disconnected my jumper here. Go back on the black and yellow right here. And then we're just going to touch it to here. Okay, so now we're up to about, well, it looks like it's leaking down a little bit, about at 155. So I would say that would tell me that that's a ring issue, like the rings are leaking by a little bit. or the piston rings. So be sure to comment below, let me know what your thoughts are on this engine. I still haven't gotten it running. There's a problem with the key being recognized, the EWS, and it's preventing me from starting it. And there is no key in this car right now. Here's the key. I'm just merely starting it from this connector down here right to this post. And again, this is a Cooper Mini S 2005. So I got this at an auction. I had no idea if it'll run or drive, but see, these are the plugs that came out of it. They don't look completely terrible, but this one here is cylinder number 2, so I'm guessing it's leaking by a little bit. I'm going to put this all back together. I just wanted to share that with everybody so that they know how to use this connector, and be able to jump it right from here, turn the starter over. The biggest thing, like I said before, on this terminal is that ring lock that spins around. I don't know, I must have dropped it somewhere. But anyways, that ring connection is the hardest part about this. I had to just break it off. And then this only goes together one way. Push it back together. And again, it's a sealed fitting. So give that a try and see what you guys think. Hopefully this video helped you. And thanks for watching.